Before I begin this story, I would like to warn everyone that the details of these true events are extremely disturbing. And I'm still finding it hard to type this out. May all the victims of such a tragic event rest in peace. And may God bless them. The tragic death of Jean Bullet, the first victim of the Beast of Gévaudan. In the summer of 1764, the rural region of Gévaudan in southern France was a picturesque yet remote area characterized by its dense forests, rolling hills, and small, scattered villages. The inhabitants, primarily engaged in farming and herding, led simple, hard-working lives. Among these villagers was Jean Bullet, a 14-year-old girl living with her family in the village of Les Hubacs near Langon. Jean was known for her cheerful demeanor and dedication to helping her family, often tending to the livestock in the surrounding pastures. The fateful day, June 30th, 1764. The day started like any other for Jean Bullet. After completing her morning chores, she set out to the nearby pasture with her family's sheep. It was a sunny day, and the tranquility of the countryside provided a peaceful backdrop as Jean went about her duties. The task of herding was a routine part of her life, and she was accustomed to spending hours alone with the animals, relying on her shepherd's staff and a small knife for any necessary protection. As the afternoon sun began to dip towards the horizon, Jean was likely unaware of any imminent danger. The area had its share of wolves, but attacks on humans were rare. Jean kept a watchful eye on her flock, ensuring they stayed together and safe from any potential threats. The sudden attack. In the early evening, as Jean guided the sheep towards a water source, a sudden rustling from the edge of the forest caught her attention. Emerging from the dense underbrush was a creature unlike any she had ever seen. It was significantly larger than a typical wolf, with a muscular build, broad chest, and an elongated snout. Its fur had a reddish tint, and its eyes seemed to gleam with a predatory focus. Jean likely had little time to react. The beast moved with incredible speed and ferocity, launching itself at her with a force that knocked her to the ground. The attack was brutal and precise, as the beast went straight for her throat, a tactic that would become a chilling signature of its assaults. Jean's screams echoed through the valley but were quickly silenced as the beast tore into her flesh with its powerful jaws. The attack was over almost as quickly as it began. The beast, satisfied with its kill, disappeared back into the forest, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror. Discovery and initial reactions. Later that evening, when Jean did not return home, her family grew worried. Villagers formed a search party and set out to find her. As they approached the pasture, the sight that greeted them was nightmarish. Jean's body lay lifeless, her throat and face mutilated beyond recognition. The extent of her injuries left no doubt that she had been attacked by a large and savage animal. The villagers were stricken with grief and horror. Jean's death was the first of its kind in living memory, and the brutal nature of the attack sent shockwaves through the community. News of the tragedy spread quickly, reaching neighboring villages and eventually the ears of local authorities. The beginning of widespread fear. In the days following Jean Bullet's death, fear and uncertainty gripped the region. Parents kept their children close, and herders began to work in groups for safety. There was an air of unease, and many villagers armed themselves with whatever weapons they could find. The local clergy held special masses, praying for protection against the unknown beast that had claimed Jean's life. As more attacks followed in the subsequent months, each as brutal as Jean's, it became clear that her death was not an isolated incident, but the beginning of a terrifying ordeal. The Beast of Dévaudan, as it came to be known, would go on to kill and maim many more, spreading fear and chaos across the region. Jean Bullet's death marked the start of one of history's most notorious series of attacks by a mysterious predator. Her tragic end not only shocked her immediate community but also drew the attention of the French government. King Louis XV would eventually intervene, sending professional hunters to track and kill the beast. While the true nature of the Beast of Gévaudan remains a subject of speculation and debate, Jeanne Boulet is remembered as the first known victim. Her story, a blend of historical fact and tragic legend, serves as a poignant reminder of the vulnerability and resilience of rural communities in the face of unimaginable terror. The attack on Jeanne Vallée by the Beast of Gévaudan. Background and setting. Jeanne Vallée, a young girl in her mid-teens, lived in the rural region of Gévaudan in southern France. The year was 1764, and the area was already reeling from the terrifying attack on Jeanne Boulet earlier that summer. Despite this, life had to continue, and villagers like Jeanne Vallée went about their daily tasks with a heightened sense of vigilance. Jeanne Vallée's family, like many in the region, relied on farming and herding to make a living. Jeanne often helped with tending the livestock, a common duty for young people in the rural villages of Gévaudan. The day of the attack. On August 8, 1764, Jeanne Vallée was out in the pastures near her village, overseeing the family's herd of sheep. It was a typical day, and Jeanne, familiar with the routine, likely felt relatively safe in the open fields. However, the memory of Jeanne Boulet's recent death lingered, casting a shadow over the otherwise peaceful landscape. The encounter. As Jeanne Vallée watched over the sheep, a sudden movement caught her eye. Emerging from the dense underbrush was a large, fearsome creature. It was unlike any wolf she had seen before, with a muscular build, reddish-brown fur, and an unusually broad chest. The beast's eyes glinted with a predatory intensity that sent a chill down Jeanne's spine. Before she could react, the beast lunged at her. With a ferocity that was both shocking and horrifying, the creature attacked, aiming for her throat. Jeanne instinctively raised her shepherd's staff, managing to land a few blows on the beast. Her quick thinking and sheer will to survive gave her the strength to fight back against the powerful predator. The struggle for survival. Jeanne Vallée's struggle with the beast was fierce and desperate. She managed to fend it off momentarily, but the beast was relentless. It continued to press its attack, its jaws snapping inches from her face. Jeanne used her staff and a small knife to defend herself, striking at the beast whenever it came close. Despite her valiant efforts, the beast inflicted serious injuries on Jeanne. Her arms and hands bore deep gashes from the creature's claws and teeth. Her clothing was torn, and blood stained the ground around her. However, Jeanne's fierce resistance and the commotion she created eventually forced the beast to retreat. It disappeared back into the forest, leaving Jeanne battered but alive. Aftermath and rescue. Injured and in shock, Jeanne Vallée managed to make her way back to her village. Her arrival, bloodied and battered, caused immediate alarm. Villagers quickly gathered around her, offering assistance and listening to her harrowing account of the attack. Jeanne's injuries were severe, but with the help of her family and neighbors, she received the necessary medical attention. The news of Jeanne Vallée's encounter with the beast spread rapidly. Her survival and bravery became a source of inspiration for the frightened community. Jeanne's detailed description of the beast, its size, and its unusual features added to the growing body of knowledge about the predator terrorizing Gévaudan. Impact on the community. Jeanne Vallée's attack and survival had a significant impact on the region. Her story highlighted the danger posed by the beast and underscored the need for vigilance and caution. Villagers became even more wary, taking greater precautions to protect themselves and their livestock. The local authorities intensified their efforts to track and kill the beast, organizing more hunts and setting traps in the areas where the beast had been sighted. Jeanne's encounter also contributed to the legend of the Beast of Gévaudan. Her detailed account and the scars she bore from the attack became part of the growing narrative that would eventually capture the attention of the entire nation. Jean Vallet's experience is one of the few documented cases where a victim of the Beast of Gévaudan survived an attack. Her bravery and quick thinking in the face of such a terrifying predator are remembered as a testament to human resilience. The attack on Jean Vallet is an integral part of the larger story of the Beast of Gévaudan, illustrating the fear and danger that gripped the region during those tumultuous years. While the true nature of the beast remains a subject of speculation and debate, Jean Vallet's story stands as a powerful example of courage and survival in the face of a seemingly unstoppable threat. Her ordeal is a reminder of the real and terrifying events that shaped the legend of the Beast of Gévaudan, a tale that continues to intrigue and haunt to this day. The tragic death of Anne Blaney, a victim of the Beast of Gévaudan. In the summer of 1764, the rural region of Gévaudan in southern France was under the shadow of fear and uncertainty. The death of Jean Vallet had already shocked the community, and the attacks attributed to a mysterious and terrifying beast had just begun. Among the villagers was Anne Blaney, a young woman in her late 20s, living in the village of Puy-les-Val. The day of the attack. On September 8, 1764, Blaney set out from her home to perform her daily tasks. She was a hard-working woman, helping her family with various chores, including tending to livestock and gathering firewood. It was a warm autumn day, and Anne, like many others, had to venture out despite the underlying fear that had gripped the region. The encounter. As Blaney moved through the fields and into the nearby forested area to collect firewood, she was alert but likely did not expect an imminent attack. The Beast of Gévaudan, however, had been stalking the region, preying on isolated individuals. Without warning, the beast emerged from the dense foliage. Descriptions of the creature from various accounts depict it as a large, wolf-like animal, with reddish fur, an elongated snout, and an unnerving ferocity in its eyes. The beast, much larger and more powerful than any normal wolf, lunged at Blaney with incredible speed. The attack. Miss Blaney had little chance to defend herself. The beast attacked her with brutal efficiency, targeting her throat and head. Witnesses later described the beast's modus operandi as striking with a savage focus on vital areas, a characteristic that made its attacks particularly deadly. Anne's screams pierced the air as she tried to fight off the beast. The creature's claws and teeth inflicted deep, grievous wounds. Despite her desperate struggle, Anne was no match for the sheer power and ferocity of the beast. The attack was over in moments, leaving Blaney mortally wounded on the forest floor. Discovery and aftermath. Anne's body was discovered later that day by villagers who had been alerted by her prolonged absence and the distant sounds of her struggle. When they found her, the scene was horrific. Anne's body was severely mutilated, her throat and face bearing the telltale signs of the beast's vicious assault. The villagers were struck with a profound sense of horror and grief. The loss of Anne, combined with the recent deaths, intensified the fear and paranoia spreading through the community. The villagers gathered to mourn Anne's death, and local leaders called for immediate action to deal with the beast. The community's response. Following Blaney's death, the urgency to hunt down the Beast of Gévaudan escalated. Local authorities organized hunting parties, and villagers armed themselves with whatever weapons they could find. The forested areas where the beast was believed to be hiding were scoured, and traps were set in hopes of capturing the creature. The attack on Blaney also reached the attention of regional authorities. Reports of the savage killings began to circulate more widely, eventually drawing the concern of King Louis XV. The king dispatched professional hunters to the region, signaling a significant escalation in the efforts to stop the beast. Impact on Gévaudan. Blaney's death was a significant event in the history of the Beast of Gévaudan's reign of terror. Her brutal killing underscored the immediate threat the beast posed to anyone who ventured out alone. The community's response grew more coordinated and determined, with a heightened sense of solidarity among the villagers. The ongoing attacks and the increasing body count created a climate of fear that permeated every aspect of life in Gévaudan. Parents kept their children close, and even essential tasks like tending to livestock and gathering supplies were done in groups for safety. The tragic death of Blaney, like that of Jean Bullet, and others, contributed to the growing legend of the Beast of Gévaudan. Each attack added to the aura of terror surrounding the beast, making it not just a local threat but a national concern. The stories of these attacks were documented in various reports and chronicles, preserving the memory of the victims and the horror they faced. End's story, although part of a larger series of tragic events, highlights the personal loss and community impact of the beast's rampage. Her death serves as a reminder of the real human cost of the attacks and the bravery of those who lived in constant fear yet continued their daily lives. The death of Miss Blaney is a poignant chapter in the history of the Beast of Gévaudan. It illustrates the terrifying reality faced by the people of Gévaudan during those dark years. The encounter of Marie-Jeanne Vallée with the Beast of Gévaudan. Background and setting. By the late summer of 1765, the rural region of Gévaudan in southern France was deeply affected by fear and tragedy. The Beast of Gévaudan had been terrorizing the area for over a year, with numerous brutal attacks and fatalities reported. Villagers were on high alert, and tales of the beast's savagery were widespread. Marie-Jeanne Vallée, also known as the Maid of Gévaudan, was a young woman living in the village of Paulhac-en-Margeride. She was known for her courage and resourcefulness, attributes that would soon be put to the test. The day of the encounter. On August 11, 1765, Marie-Jeanne Vallée set out from her home with her younger sister and a group of village women. They were walking along a path near the river Desges, a common route for gathering water and tending to daily chores. Despite the ongoing threat, life had to continue, and the women remained vigilant as they went about their tasks. The encounter. As the group moved along the riverbank, Marie-Jeanne noticed a sudden, eerie silence among the animals in the surrounding woods. This stillness was often a precursor to danger, and she instinctively knew something was wrong. Moments later, the dreaded Beast of Gévaudan appeared, emerging from the underbrush with terrifying speed and ferocity. The beast, described in numerous accounts as a large, wolf-like creature with reddish fur, a broad chest, and an elongated snout, fixed its predatory gaze on the group. While many would have been paralyzed with fear, Marie-Jeanne reacted with remarkable bravery. The attack and defense. The beast charged at the group, aiming directly at Marie-Jeanne. She had brought a long spear, a weapon she carried for protection against the known dangers of the region. As the beast lunged, Marie-Jeanne stood her ground and thrust the spear at the creature. Her aim was true. The spear struck the beast in the chest. The impact of the spear did not kill the beast, but it caused significant injury and pain. The creature, now wounded and enraged, retreated into the forest. Marie-Jeanne's quick thinking and bravery not only saved her life, but also likely spared the lives of her companions. Aftermath and recognition. Marie-Jeanne Vallée's encounter with the Beast of Gévaudan quickly became legendary. News of her bravery spread through the village and beyond, providing a much-needed morale boost to the frightened community. Her successful defense against the beast earned her the nickname, the Maid of Gévaudan, and she became a symbol of courage and resilience. Local authorities and villagers were inspired by her actions. The spear attack on the beast showed that it could be wounded and potentially killed, giving hope to those living in fear of further attacks. The heroic defense by the children of Gévaudan. Background. By early 1765, The Beast of Gévaudan had become infamous for its brutal attacks in the rural region of Gévaudan in southern France. This creature had claimed many lives, and its attacks were characterized by their savagery, often targeting women and children who were tending to livestock in isolated fields. The Children of Villaret. On January 12, 1765, a group of 7 children from the village of Villaret, near Saint-Albin, were tasked with herding cattle in a field near their village. Among these children was Jacques-André Portefaix, a brave 10-year-old boy. The group ranged in age from 8 to 12 and included Jacques-André's younger siblings and friends. The encounter with the beast. As the children were tending to their cattle, the Beast of Gévaudan suddenly emerged from the forest. The beast, described as a large, wolf-like creature with reddish fur, an elongated snout, and a powerful build, charged at the children with terrifying speed. The attack and defense. The beast's sudden appearance caused panic among the children, but Jacques-André Portefaix quickly took charge. He instructed the other children to form a tight circle, placing the youngest in the center. The children armed themselves with sticks, rocks, and whatever tools they had at hand. They prepared to defend themselves against the beast's ferocious attack. The beast lunged at the group, attempting to break their defensive formation. It swiped at the children with its powerful claws and snapped its jaws, aiming to drag one of them away. The children, despite their fear, fought back with all their might. They struck the beast repeatedly with their makeshift weapons, yelling and trying to drive it away. The beast managed to injure some of the children, inflicting deep wounds with its claws and teeth. The children sustained cuts and gashes, and their clothes were torn and bloodied. The situation grew increasingly desperate as the beast continued its relentless assault. The rescue? Amid the chaos, Jean Chastel happened to be nearby. He was a local farmer, an innkeeper known for his hunting skills. Hearing the children's cries and the commotion, he rushed to their aid. Jean Chastel arrived at the scene armed with a firearm. He quickly assessed the situation and, without hesitation, aimed at the beast. With a steady hand, he fired his gun, hitting the beast and causing it to retreat. The shot did not kill the creature, but it wounded it enough to drive it away from the children. Aftermath. Thanks to Jean Chastel's timely intervention, the children were saved from what could have been a deadly attack. Despite their injuries, they survived and were able to return to their village, where they received medical attention. The bravery of Jacques-André Portefaix and the other children, combined with the heroic actions of Jean Chastel, became a celebrated story in the region. Recognition and legacy. The children's courageous defense and the intervention of the farmer were widely recognized. King Louis XV, upon hearing about the incident, was deeply moved. He awarded Jacques-André Portefaix and his companions with monetary rewards and funded Jacques-André's education. Jean Chastel's bravery was also acknowledged, and he continued to play a role in the efforts to hunt down the Beast of Gévaudan. Historical significance. The encounter between the children and the Beast of Gévaudan, and their subsequent rescue by Jean Chastel, is one of the most dramatic and well-documented episodes in the legend of the Beast. It highlighted the incredible bravery of the children in the face of a deadly threat, and the critical role of community members like Jean Chastel in protecting the vulnerable. The story of the children of Villaret and their defense against the Beast of Gévaudan is a powerful testament to human courage and resilience. Their ability to confront and repel the beast, despite the gruesome injuries they sustained, and the timely intervention of Jean Chastel, stand as enduring symbols of bravery and the strength of the human spirit in the face of pure evil. The hunt for the Beast of Gévaudan. Early attacks and initial efforts, 1764. The first documented attack by the Beast of Gévaudan occurred on June 30, 1764, with the death of Jean Boulet. Following this, a series of brutal attacks on men, women and children plagued the region of Gévaudan in southern France. Panic spread among the villagers, and local officials began organizing hunts to kill the creature. However, these early efforts were largely unsuccessful, as the beast eluded capture and continued its reign of terror. Increased attacks and public outcry. Throughout the latter half of 1764, the number of attacks increased, with the beast often targeting individuals in isolated areas. The sheer savagery of the attacks, with victims being mutilated and their throats torn out, caused widespread fear and outrage. Reports of the beast's attacks spread beyond Gévaudan, reaching Paris and catching the attention of the French king. Involvement of King Louis XV. Late 1764, early 1765. By late 1764, news of the Beast of Gévaudan had reached King Louis XV. The king, concerned about the panic and the growing number of deaths, decided to take action. He offered a substantial reward for the capture or killing of the beast and sent professional hunters to assist in the efforts. The arrival of Captain Duhamel, early 1765. Captain Jean-Baptiste Duhamel of the Clermont-Ferrand Dragoons was one of the first professional hunters sent to Gévaudan. He arrived in early 1765 with a contingent of soldiers. Duhamel organized large-scale hunts involving hundreds of local men. Despite their efforts, the hunts were plagued by bad weather, difficult terrain, and the beast's apparent ability to avoid traps and ambushes. Duhamel's efforts were met with frustration as the beast continued to claim more victims. The beast strikes back. During this period, the beast's attacks became even more brazen. It reportedly attacked groups of people, entered villages, and even fought off armed hunters. One of the notable encounters was with Marie-Jeanne Vallée on August 11, 1765, where she managed to wound the beast with a spear but it escaped. François Antoine and the death of the first beast, 1765, realizing the need for more experienced hunters, King Louis XV sent François Antoine, the king's gun-bearer and lieutenant of the hunt, to Gévaudan in June 1765. François Antoine was a seasoned hunter with a reputation for his skills. He arrived with his son and a team of experienced hunters and bloodhounds. Antoine and his team spent weeks tracking the beast, studying its patterns, and setting traps. On September 20, 1765, they encountered a large wolf near the Abbey of Chazes. Antoine shot and killed the wolf, which was unusually large and matched the descriptions of the beast. The wolf measured over 5 feet in length, and weighed around 130 pounds. Antoine and his team believed they had finally killed the Beast of Gévaudan. The wolf's body was transported to Versailles, where it was examined and presented to the king. François Antoine was hailed as a hero, and the attacks in Gévaudan temporarily ceased, leading many to believe that the threat had been eliminated. Continued attacks and renewed efforts. Late 1765 to 1767, despite the death of the large wolf, attacks resumed in December 1765, leading to renewed fear and frustration among the villagers. It became clear that the beast, or another similar creature, was still at large. The attacks continued sporadically over the next 2 years. The final hunt and the death of the beast, 1767. In early 1767, local nobleman Jean Chastel joined the efforts to hunt the beast. Chastel was a farmer and innkeeper with a reputation for being a skilled hunter. On June 19, 1767, during a hunt organized by local villagers, Chastel reportedly encountered the beast near the village of Sauges. According to legend, Chastel was reciting prayers and holding a silver bullet, which he used to shoot and kill the beast. The beast killed by Chastel was described as a large wolf-like creature, and it bore scars consistent with previous encounters, such as the one with Marie-Jeanne Vallée. The body of the beast was examined and found to contain human remains in its stomach. This discovery confirmed that the creature was responsible for many of the attacks. Aftermath and legacy. With the death of the beast killed by Jean Chastel, the attacks in Gévaudan finally ceased. The people of the region were able to return to their normal lives, although the memory of the beast and its reign of terror remained. The story of the Beast of Gévaudan has since become part of French folklore, with various theories proposed about the true nature of the creature. Some believe it was a particularly aggressive wolf or a hybrid, while others suggest more exotic explanations such as a trained animal or an escaped exotic predator. The hunt for the Beast of Gévaudan involved a combination of local efforts, royal intervention, and professional hunting expertise. Despite the challenges and initial failures, the relentless pursuit by figures like François Antoine and Jean Chastel ultimately brought an end to the beast's reign of terror. The involvement of King Louis XV and the dramatic hunts have ensured that the story remains a captivating and enduring legend in French history. And that, my friends, was the true story of the unknown beast that stalked and haunted the people of Gévaudan. Before it was over, it had slain anywhere from 60 to 100 people before it was killed. So, what do you guys think the beast was? Could it have been a large wolf? Or an escaped exotic animal like a lion or hyena that was owned by the elites at the time? Or could it have been a dogman, craving for human flesh? Let me know your thoughts down below, and until I upload another video for your entertainment, thank you for watching, and God bless you and your families.